I've always loved camping. Something about the disconnect from everything, the phones, the emails, the world. It's just you, your friends, and nature. But after what happened last summer, I don't think I'll ever step foot in a forest again. It was supposed to be a weekend getaway, just the three of us. Me, my girlfriend Lexi, and my best friend Jonah. We picked a spot up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, a lesser-known trail with a quiet clearing by a creek. No cell service, no nearby campsites. Exactly what we wanted. We arrived Friday afternoon. The hike in was rough, steep, rocky, and remote. But by sunset, we had our tents pitched, a fire going, and dinner cooking. We were laughing, telling stories, and roasting marshmallows when Jonah paused mid-sentence. He pointed up the hill behind our tents. "There, do you see that?" At first, I thought he was messing with us, but then I saw it too. A flicker of light, like a lantern. It hovered between the trees, moving side to side. Lexi brushed it off. "Probably another camper," she said. Except, we hadn't seen a single car in the lot. We were supposed to be the only ones up here. Still, we let it go. The light disappeared, and we crawled into our tents. I don't know what time it was when I woke up, but it was still dark, dead silent. Then, a soft knock. 3 slow taps on the outside of our tent. I froze. I thought maybe it was Jonah playing a prank, but the knocking wasn't on his tent. It was on ours. I whispered Lexi's name. She was already awake, eyes wide. "Do you hear that?" she mouthed. Then the knocking came again, this time on the opposite side of the tent. I grabbed the flashlight and unzipped the flap in one motion. There was no one there. I scanned the tree line. Nothing. No crunching leaves. No rustling. No movement. The next morning, Jonah swore he hadn't left his tent. Neither had we. We chalked it up to nerves and sleep deprivation. Still, we decided to move the tents closer together that night. The day was normal. We hiked, swam in the creek, cooked dinner. But something felt off. At dusk, we heard the light footfalls of someone walking just beyond the tree line. Then we saw it again. That same flickering lantern-like light, deeper in the forest. It didn't stay long this time. We tried to ignore it, telling ourselves it was a park ranger or another group passing through. But by midnight, the unease was back. I woke to hear Lexi breathing heavily next to me. Then I realized she was awake, panicking. She pointed to the zipper. There were fresh, muddy handprints smeared across the outside of the tent. Not paw prints, human hands, small ones. Then came the knocking, on Jonah's tent this time. "Stop screwing with me," he called out. But there was no response. We didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, we debated hiking back early. But we were a full day's hike in, and it would have taken hours with our gear. Then we noticed something else. Jonah's backpack was missing. We searched everywhere, around the tents, up the creek, down the trail. Gone. That afternoon, Lexi found something behind a cluster of trees. She called us over. There, carved into the bark with something sharp, was a message. You don't belong here. Under it, nailed into the tree, was Jonah's missing backpack. Inside, all his clothes, but no food, no knife, no flashlight. That was it. We were done. We agreed to hike out at first light. That night, we didn't bother pretending to sleep. We sat around the dying fire, clutching whatever we could use as a weapon. Around 2:30 a.m., we saw the lights again. 2 this time, moving closer, then stopping. Then came the noise, whispering, dozens of voices, too far to understand, but loud enough to send chills down our spines. Then, silence. That's when the knocking returned. Only this time it was frantic, aggressive, all around us, on the tents, on the trees, on the cooler. We screamed, shouted into the darkness. No reply, just laughing. Low, breathy, unhinged laughter. I shined my flashlight toward the tree line and saw someone standing just outside the beam. They weren't holding a lantern. Their eyes were reflecting the light, like an animal. As soon as the sun rose, we packed and ran. We didn't stop until we made it back to the trailhead. As we were loading the car, I noticed something. A sticker on the back windshield. It wasn't there before. It was an old, weathered bumper sticker. White letters on black, "We see who stays." Later, I tried researching that message. It didn't turn up anything official. But I did find forum posts from hikers who'd been to that region, all reporting similar experiences. Lights in the woods, knocking, disappearing gear. But none of them had seen the people. The thing that haunts me most is something Jonah said on the drive home. He turned to us, pale as a ghost, and said, "I don't think they wanted to hurt us. I think they wanted us to stay. I've never been back to the Blue Ridge Mountains. Sometimes I dream about that knocking. Sometimes I wake up and swear I hear it again, right outside my bedroom window." It was supposed to be a digital detox. Me, my girlfriend Lex, and our 2 closest friends, Damon and Jules, just wanted to unplug. Get away from phones, emails, traffic. Damon found this hidden gem deep in the national forest. No signal, barely any trail. Perfect. The first 2 days? Peaceful. We hiked, cooked over a fire, slept under a sky full of stars. But on night 3, everything changed. It was around 1:30 in the morning when I first heard it. Footsteps outside our tent. Steady, careful. Lex was already up. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Then, a voice. Low, calm. "You're on private land." We jumped out of our tents, flashlight scanning the woods, and there he was. A man, shirtless, barefoot, torn jeans, dirt caked on his skin like armor. He stared right at us, unblinking. "You're trespassing. This is my land." Damon said, "Sir, this is public forest." The man didn't move. "I don't care what they told you. You need to leave, before dark tomorrow." Then he turned and disappeared into the trees. The next morning, Damon and I searched the area. Nothing. No footprints, no trail. The guy just vanished. Lex wanted to leave. Jules said one more night wouldn't kill us. She was wrong. That night, around 3 a.m., I heard it again. Someone whispering my name. "Alex," I sat up. My heart was hammering. "Alex." I unzipped the tent, flashlight in hand. No one there. But something was. A pile of bones. Small, clean, arranged in a spiral. Lex screamed. Damon came running, shouting that our cooler was gone, all the food. This wasn't a scare tactic anymore. It felt like a countdown. At dawn, we packed up fast. That's when we found it. About 50 yards from camp, hidden behind thick brush, was a shack, thrown together from tree branches, rusted metal, and camping gear. Inside, we found backpacks, shoes, torn clothing, broken phones, and a wall covered in Polaroids. Faces, some smiling, some terrified, all clearly taken without them knowing. Then Jules pointed to a map on the wall, a hand-drawn forest layout, red X's all over it. Our campsite was the newest X. We ran, back to our site. Everything was trashed, tents slashed, bags gutted, Damon's car keys gone, and sitting by our smoldering fire pit was him, holding Damon's keys. "I warned you," he said softly. Damon lunged, but the man moved with eerie speed. He didn't even flinch. "You should have left when you had the chance." We bolted, blind, desperate. Branches tore at our faces. Every sound felt like it was chasing us. Hours passed. Then, somehow, we found an old ranger tower, half collapsed, covered in vines. We climbed, no signal. But from up there, we saw a clearing, a perfect circle in the woods. We ran toward it. What we found was worse than anything we imagined. A graveyard, dozens of mounds, fresh dirt, wooden markers with no names, and at the center, a freshly dug hole, like it was waiting. We didn't wait. We ran. Again. And by pure luck, thank God, we stumbled onto a real ranger trail. A patrol found us. We told them everything. When they went back, the shack, gone, the Polaroids gone, even the bones gone. The only thing left behind was one Polaroid, pinned to a tree. A photo of us, asleep in our tents the first night. The official report? No credible threat. But I know what we saw. That man. He wasn't protecting his land. He was luring people onto it, like a spider waiting for flies. And we were just the latest ones to step into the web. I've always loved camping. The quiet, the fresh air, the way the forest swallows sound, and makes you feel like the only person in the world. That used to comfort me. Now, it terrifies me. Last October, my friend Zach and I went on a week-long backpacking trip in the Smoky Mountains. Off the grid, no people, no cell signal, just us, the trail, and total isolation. The first 2 days were perfect. Golden leaves, crisp air, and nights by the fire. But on day 3, we met him. We were halfway up a ridge when we saw a man standing just off the trail. He wore a ranger uniform, green shirt, tan pants, wide-brimmed hat, and a badge on his chest. He looked official. But something felt wrong. His clothes were faded, frayed at the cuffs, his boots caked in old, dried mud, and his expression? Blank. Too blank. "Afternoon," he said, stepping forward. "Hey," I replied. "Didn't think there were any rangers this far out." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You'd be surprised what's out here," he said. "Lots of folks get turned around once the sun goes down." Zach showed him our trail map. He pointed to a spot and said, "Don't camp near here. Too many bears." We thanked him. He nodded and slipped back into the trees. A few minutes later, Zach muttered, "That guy gave me the creeps." "Yeah," I said. He felt off. That night, while setting up camp, Zach said, "Dude, his badge." I looked at him. What about it? It said 1997, but it was brand new. And it looked different, like older than the ones I've seen online. I tried to brush it off. Maybe it's a vintage issue or something? Zach didn't look convinced. Neither was I. That night, every snap of a twig made us sit up straight. But by morning, the fear felt silly. Day 4 was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no breeze, just that growing sense of being watched. That night, we set up camp early, far off trail, far from where we met the ranger. While cooking, we heard it. Footsteps, deliberate, circling our camp. Zach and I froze, grabbed flashlights, called out. No reply, just trees. Then I saw him, standing between 2 trunks far off, watching. I aimed my flashlight. He vanished behind a tree. We packed up, hiked through the dark for 2 hours. No talking, no fire. We made camp on cold rock, didn't sleep. Next morning we agreed we needed to leave. Now we were 5 miles from a ranger station. That's when we heard it. Whistling. Not cheerful, not melodic. Just a slow, broken, tuneless whistle. Following us. From behind, from ahead, from the left. Then Zach spotted it. A rope, stretched low across the trail. Tripwire, he whispered. That's when we ran. Didn't stop until we reached the ranger station. An old wooden building, empty. We banged on the door. A man opened it. Real ranger. Radio. Name tag. Modern badge. We told him everything. He went pale, then pulled out a binder. Flipped pages. Stopped. Is this who you saw? It was him. Same man. That's Walter Greaves, he said. Used to work here in the 90s. Disappeared in 97. Just walked into the woods one day, never came back. I asked, then who the hell did we see? He didn't answer. That night, we stayed in the ranger station. Locked doors, slept in shifts. At 3 a.m., the radio crackled. Then a voice. Low, scratchy. Don't trust the ranger. Zach was asleep. The ranger was snoring. I checked the radio. It wasn't even on. We left at sunrise. Didn't stop until we reached the car. I couldn't shake it. So I did some digging. Walter Greaves wasn't just a missing person. He was a suspect. Rumors said he'd guide hikers off trail, lead them to remote areas, where they vanished. A week later, I got a package, no return address. Inside, a park ranger badge, polished, clean, perfect condition. Stamped. Issued, 1997. Some things in the woods never left. They just learned to blend in. You ever go deep into the woods? Far enough that your phone's useless? Far enough that the only thing keeping you company is silence? Because after this trip, I don't think I'll ever go camping again. It started like any other guy's trip. Me, Derek, and Kyle, 3 lifelong friends, headed out to the Appalachian backcountry for a weekend off the grid. No cell service, no trail markers, just tents, trees, and total isolation. The first day went smooth. We hiked in, set up camp by a small stream, and spent the evening joking around the fire like kids again. Derek brought his old GoPro and said he wanted to document the experience. Typical Derek, always filming something. By midnight, Kyle and I were wiped out. We crashed in our tents, but Derek stayed up, recording the fire and some night sounds. That's the last time we saw him. When the sun came up, his sleeping bag was still zipped, untouched. The fire had burned low, and Derek was gone. At first, we weren't too worried. Maybe he got up early to explore. He'd done that before. But by noon, with no sign of him and no GoPro, we started to panic. We fanned out, called his name until our throats went raw. Nothing. Not even footprints. Then Kyle found something strange. About 200 feet from camp, his water bottle, upright, not dropped, placed. Next to it, his sunglasses, folded, sitting perfectly still. We didn't say it out loud, but we both knew something was wrong. We kept circling the area, and that's when Kyle spotted it. The GoPro, wedged in the crook of a tree branch, almost 15 feet off the ground. We had no idea how it got there. Kyle climbed up and brought it down. The battery was dead, but we used Derek's spare charger to power it on. There were 3 files. The last one was from the night he vanished. The footage starts with Derek whispering into the lens. It's about 2:45 a.m. Thought I heard something near the trees. Sounded like footsteps. He turns the camera, and you hear leaves crunching. For a while, nothing happens, just him walking, breathing. Then he stops, and the camera zooms in on something, 2 faint reflections, like eyes, floating between the trees. Derek whispers, "Hello?" Suddenly something moves, fast, branches snap. He runs. The camera swings wildly. You hear him screaming, but it cuts off. Just silence. The final frame is blurry, but there's a shape. Pale, tall, crooked, not human. We stared at the screen. I remember thinking, this can't be real. Kyle didn't say a word. He just started packing. That night we didn't sleep. We didn't talk. Every sound in the woods felt like it was right next to us. Just before dawn, I opened the tent to get some air. And sitting by the dead fire pit where Derek used to film, the GoPro. I swear, I had packed it in my bag, buried under clothes. Someone had taken it out and placed it right where Derek always set it. There was a new video. It showed our tents, filmed from the woods. At night, you could hear us sleeping, snoring, then breathing, heavy, wet, slow. Whoever held the camera walked toward my tent, closer and closer, until the lens pressed against the nylon. You could see the shape of my body through the fabric. Then it cut to black. We ran. Didn't wait for sunrise. Left the tent, the gear, everything. Just ran until we hit the ranger station and filed a missing persons report. They searched. They investigated. But Derek was never found. And the camera? Gone. Someone took it. A week later, Kyle called me. He got a letter, no return address. Inside, a photo, a screenshot from the GoPro footage of me sleeping in the tent. A few days later, I got the same one. But mine was different. In the background, behind the tent, a shadow. Tall, thin, crouching low, not walking away, watching, waiting. And then I noticed something else. It was holding something. A GoPro. Don't go into the woods. And if you do, don't bring a camera. Sometimes, something might be watching you back.